We do begin here with the dangerous weather hitting the middle of the country, the start of a potential 5-day stretch. ABC News meteorologist Leslie Lopez is here with what we can expect. Leslie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Okay, I wanted to show you this. This was even just yesterday. We're out towards Kansas, Harper, Kansas, and you saw some lightning strikes. More severe weather. We're tracking that for today. This is on your Saturday, moving through areas closer towards McCook, North Platte, and also getting into areas, it looks like even out towards parts of not only Colorado, but then moving out to the Midwest. This is going to be a multi-day event. So we're talking about a 3 out of 5 level of threat. So we could see some isolated tornadoes, certainly hail, damaging wind. And then that threat expands into your Sunday and your Monday. But Sunday's threat, we could see some powerful tornadoes out of that. And then the area gets larger from Wichita all the way up towards Des Moines, Iowa, even out towards Green Bay. You still have a 2 out of 5 level threat with isolated tornadoes possible. We'll have more coming up in a little bit. Rachel, we'll send it back over your way.
Yeah, a lot of people on alert this morning. Okay, Leslie, thank you. Now to the other breaking news overnight. The busiest commuter rail system in North America hit by a strike. 7,000 Long Island Railroad workers walking off the job after a deal was not reached at midnight. ABC's Ike Ejiochi has the latest. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Rachel. We're here at Penn Station where just hours ago it was a mad dash to get home, and now it's a picket line. LIRR workers walked off the job at 12:01 a.m. this morning after the unions and the MTA failed to reach an agreement over health care and pay.
What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now!
This morning, the nation's largest commuter rail system now completely shut down as its workers hit the picket lines.
I feel terrible. Terrible. This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt the island. This is going to hurt the city.
The union for the Long Island Railroad and the MTA failing to reach a new contract deal overnight, negotiating potential salary bumps for the LIRR's 3,500 workers. After 4 years without raises, the coalition of LIRR unions says it was trying to negotiate raises between 4.5% and 5% for its employees due to inflation and high costs of living.
Obviously, this is not the result we were looking for. Our last offer literally gave the unions everything they said they had wanted in terms of pay, but they rejected even that.
But union officials say the MTA added last-minute health care takeaways that negatively swayed the final decision.
Late in the 11th hour, the railroad decided to throw health care contributions for new employees.
You know what we proposed? Half of what an average state worker pays for their health care costs. That's what we proposed.
Both parties at the negotiating table until the clock struck midnight as New York residents rushed to make their final trains.
I'm able to get on the train and I can get back to Ronkonkoma from Penn Station in about an hour and 20 minutes, whereas if I tried to drive home, it would be 3 hours easy.
Now, hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers forced to find alternate methods of transportation.
I have family that comes out on the train almost every weekend to visit, and this will be difficult because they will have to drive, which is also challenging. 3 grandchildren.
And the big question here is, how long will this last? The immediate impact is weekend travel, people coming into the city, big events, airport, but the real stress test will be Monday morning if no deal is reached. If that happens, this will be a very difficult commute for hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers across Long Island and New York City. Whit.
All right, Ike Ejiochi for us. We appreciate it. Now to the search for answers after an explosion and fire at a Maine lumber mill. At least 1 firefighter was killed and at least 10 people injured. ABC's Morgan Norwood is joining us now with the latest. Morgan, good morning.
Good morning to you, Whit. And this was a dangerous firefight. Authorities say this fire started inside a silo at that lumber mill, but as crews moved in to put out the flames, a massive explosion erupted. 1 firefighter killed, several others hurt, and overnight we know crews were battling hot spots as investigators this morning search for what sparked that blast.
This morning, 1 firefighter is dead after battling through this apocalyptic scene. A massive explosion and fire tearing through a lumber mill in Maine.
There's been a huge explosion. The silo just exploded.
At least 10 other people injured, several critically, as crews raced to contain the swift-moving blaze.
Need to treat this as a mass casualty incident.
Dramatic drone video showing flames shooting through the Robbins Lumber Mill in Searsmont, about 90 minutes northeast of Portland. The roof of one building collapsing as firefighters worked to contain the fire, frantically calling for backup.
Multiple firefighters injured and burning. We need more help here now, immediately.
Authorities say every fire department in the county was called in. At least 3 fire trucks destroyed in the blaze.
Upon my arrival, I walked up to this very chaotic scene initially because of the magnitude of the fire involvement and the amount of sheer buildings that were on fire.
And this morning, we're hearing from the heartbroken owners of the family-run company. The Halsteads laying eyes on what's left of their business, dating back to the late 1800s.
It's obviously a hugely devastating day for the family. We feel for the first responders, the family, the employees.
And the state's only level 1 trauma center is now confirming that it's treating 10 patients that were hurt in that explosion, several in serious and critical condition.
Yeah, just an awful story. Okay, Morgan, thank you. Well, this morning, a man from Iraq is facing federal charges in New York for allegedly plotting 20 terror attacks around the world in retaliation for the war in Iran. A criminal complaint accuses Mohammed al-Saudi of coordinating attacks in Europe and Canada in the last 2 months, as well as considering additional attacks here in the United States. He appeared in federal court on Friday, claiming to be a political prisoner. Whit?
Now to President Trump, Rachel, back on U.S. soil after his 2-day trip to China, but still questions this morning about what the summit accomplished. ABC's Olivia Rubin is in Washington with the latest. Olivia, good morning.
Wait, good morning. It was a lavish trip with a red carpet welcome, but in private, President Trump and Chinese President Xi discussing difficult issues like Taiwan and the war in Iran, and now it's not exactly clear where they ended up.
This morning, President Trump back in Washington after a whirlwind trip to China.
A lot of things have happened and you'll be hearing about it, but that was a tremendous success.
But it's not clear what exactly he got out of the trip, as he now weighs a key decision, green-lighting an arms sale to Taiwan.
I'll make a determination over the next fairly short period.
Trump not committing to approving the $14 billion sale after a stark warning from Chinese President Xi, urging Trump behind closed doors their countries could come into conflict if the issue of Taiwan, which China views as its territory, is handled improperly. The United States has been arming Taiwan for decades, but Trump has been holding up the sale to the self-governed island for months. Still, Trump telling Fox News the U.S. position remains unchanged.
No, nothing's changed. I will say this. I'm not looking to have somebody go independent and, we're supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. I want them to cool down. I want China to cool down.
And while the trip was full of red carpets, toasts, and celebrations, uncertainty remains about the war in Iran. Xi not publicly committing to pressuring Iran, its close ally, back to the negotiating table or to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
We feel very similar, right? We want that to end, and we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon.
Still, the president touting, quote, fantastic trade deals, like the purchase of soybeans, but giving few specifics. Overnight, Boeing saying China agreed to purchase 200 jets from the company.
And this morning, China getting ready to welcome its next foreign leader on the calendar. Russia's Vladimir Putin, still unrelenting in his war against Ukraine. Now he's headed there in just 3 days. The Kremlin spokesperson saying those finishing touches, well, they're already done. Rachel.
Okay, Olivia, thank you. The Supreme Court denied an emergency request from Democrats in Virginia to use a new congressional map ahead of the midterm elections in November. State officials had asked the justices to step in to allow the state to use a congressional map that was drawn by Democrats and recently approved by voters. The justices declined. The plan would have given Democrats a chance at gaining 4 more seats in Congress. The appeal was considered a long shot bid since the justices typically defer to state courts when it comes to state laws.
Rachel, new details this morning on the deadly hantavirus outbreak. The CDC with an update on the 18 Americans who were on that cruise ship where the virus spread. ABC's Andrew Dimber joins us now with more on that. Andrew, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So 0 Americans are sick with hantavirus linked to that cruise ship docked in Spain. U.S. health officials confirming for the first time no Americans are believed to be infected with the Andes strain, including the passenger who ended up replacing the ship doctor who initially tested positive. Further tests actually show he may have never been sick with the disease. In total, health authorities are watching 41 Americans for the virus, including 16 who were never on that ship but were potentially exposed to one of the cruise ship passengers who got on a plane. 18 people remain in quarantine in Nebraska. In Kansas, 3 individuals are under observation at a hospital after officials say they had high-risk exposure to an infected person. And health authorities now outside Syracuse, New York, announced they're investigating a locally acquired case of hantavirus that officials say does not spread person to person, stressing this case is not connected to the outbreak aboard that expedition cruise. And health officials say one of the challenges here is getting the public to understand the difference between the international version of the virus from the seasonal American cases, guys.
Yeah, they continue to stress this is different from COVID-19.
Yeah, that it is.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew, thank you. A high-risk operation to recover the bodies of several Italian scuba divers in the Maldives has now been suspended due to bad weather. Officials in Italy believe the 5 divers were killed while attempting to explore an underwater cave at least 160 feet below the surface on Thursday. Search teams were called in when the team failed to resurface. Only 1 body has been recovered so far in that search.
Rachel, the U.S. is ramping up the pressure on Cuba. CIA Director John Ratcliffe visiting the island nation amid a worsening economic crisis. ABC's Alex Perche joins us now with details. Alex, good morning to you.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, this was an unplanned visit to Cuba by the CIA director to deliver a strong message from President Trump in person as millions on the island face a crippling energy shortage. This morning, the U.S. with a stern warning to Cuba, imploring the island nation to stop being a safe haven for countries like Russia and China. CIA Director John Ratcliffe delivering President Trump's message in person while leading an unannounced trip to Havana Thursday. The CIA saying the U.S. is prepared to engage with Cuba on economic and security issues, but only if Cuba makes fundamental changes. The Cuban government insists it poses no threat to U.S. national security, nor will it allow actions against any other nation to be carried out from Cuba, a sentiment echoed by their foreign minister in an exclusive interview with our Whit Johnson.
The Trump administration alleges that Cuba is rolling out the red carpet for foreign adversaries like Russia and China.
Cuba is not a threat to the U.S. National security or foreign policy or economy or the American way of life.
Ratcliffe's visit is happening in the midst of an economic crisis. The U.S. oil blockade and sanctions have caused a crippling energy shortage. Extensive blackouts across the country sparking protest. Cubans banging pots and shouting, "Turn on the lights." The frustrations growing over the country's energy grid, now on the verge of collapse. Many Cubans are without power up to 22 hours a day, getting by in the dark with car headlights and flashlights. This week, Cuba's energy minister declaring the country has no fuel and no diesel. President Trump has called Cuba a declining country in need of help. The U.S. State Department has made a public offer of $100 million in humanitarian aid, something Cuban officials are now mulling over. U.S. officials telling ABC News there are disagreements about how that money would be distributed. Now, the U.S. has offered that humanitarian aid multiple times this month. Meanwhile, sources say the U.S. could announce an indictment of former Cuban President Raul Castro as soon as next week, Rachel.
Yeah, it could come. All right, Alex, thank you. And Whit, we just saw there in that piece, you were just in Cuba last week speaking to the foreign minister. I mean, what were your takeaways from being on the ground there?
I mean, the big takeaway for me is the looming question, how much longer can this really last? I mean, when I was there last week, it was desperation. I mean, we saw people actually sifting through the trash to try to find food. 20-hour rolling blackouts. The gas stations were all closed. People were getting their gas on the black market. And now it's even worse a week later, and we're starting to see people pour out into the streets. They are demanding a change of some kind. When I spoke with the foreign minister, he insisted that internal affairs are off the table in these discussions with the U.S. He said that there's no progress in those discussions, but it seems like the administration is determined to force change, whether the Cuban government likes it or not.
Yeah, those U.S. sanctions crippling that economy. Okay, Whit, we appreciate your reporting on that. Great interview.